question. So I agree with the issue of money and trust, but it also seems to me that there's been, by particular political forces, an effort to demonize what the citizenry should expect from the government. In other words, we've been told that government is bad. We shouldn't expect government to provide solutions.
That's certainly true. And I think that's part of the reason why there's such a strong motivation not to rally forces to support the government solving problems, instead to look to corporations to solve public problems. But I think that, at least in the United States, that attitude has radically changed in the last 6 months. There's a view, very much like what happened during the Depression, a view that believes that government should stay away and let these forces take care of themselves, has effectively dislodged by events as any political force could have done. So I think we need to rebuild the idea of government solving problems the government should be addressing. But what I'm looking for is, what's the first step to get people to want to be involved? And the cynicism that I think comes from this mistrust keeps people disengaged. Not so much at the presidential level, where everybody could rally around Barack Obama, but I'm as strong a supporter of Barack as anybody could be. But a president can't change people. The system will require much more fundamental change. We can live with that, and that's what I think.
You mentioned Twitter on your slide. Don't you think we can use trust even on this platform?
Of course. And if you trust everything on the platform, then you've got serious trouble. I don't mean to suggest that the platform builds the trust. But what I mean, but the idea of Twitter that I tried to link to this sort of rhythm, crowd-sourced politics of Gandhi, was the sense that the only thing that really flows or becomes powerful in that space is what, in some sense, other people recommend to become powerful or to flow. It's a framework for allowing that to happen. It's not yet been deployed politically, in my view, anywhere effectively. So I'm not saying, see, this is the results that we need to be aiming for. I'm just suggesting it's at least a platform that, by contrast to 2000, at least in my head, where I couldn't even imagine how you were going to engage the public, how you could build it. Like, we had blogs, what was a blog in 2000? This is at least the dynamic that I think increasingly is enabled. It's not guaranteed it becomes that. There's lots of cynical reasons it won't become that. There's a lot of network neutrality is a critical feature that might interfere with ability to become that. But it's at least a different way to enable that kind of politics that doesn't exist in the read-only channel-driven politics.
Hi, I'm Amanda from the I was wondering, there's no consolation that the United States are almost just as bad as Iran. The situation in the United States is just as bad as Italy. But at least in the United States, you were able to elect Obama with the Internet censoring. And it seems to be a situation that's impossible to replicate here, because in the meantime, the Italian government has seen what happened in the United States and is changing laws so as not to have such a platform available to us. So I don't think we will have a platform like that available for our democratic participation to changing the rules and making sure that the government is elected by people and not by lobbies. So what do you suggest we can do to fight back and keep this platform from being taken away from us? It seems very difficult. Europe is is passing laws. France just passed laws. Italy is about to do the same. I mean, I'm sure you've followed all this through, and it seems to us that the United States are sort of a beacon of, I mean, there's all these associations for freedom, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, Creative Commons, everything has been funded, made there in the United States. And in Italy, we're trying to do it, but it's very small, and the digital divide, the gap is very big. We don't have ADSL, the fast connections yet. We don't have Wi-Fi. I mean, if you go around Italy, you look for a place to connect your PC to Wi-Fi, you don't find it. People don't have Wi-Fi at home. So it's very difficult to communicate through Twitter. Twitter has not taken off in Italy at all. People are on Facebook in Italy, and the government is trying to close Facebook, close YouTube. All those platforms are about to be closed.
Well, I think things always look better from the other side. So let me tell you why people in the United States actually look to Europe as an inspiration. Remember the battle around software patents? In the United States, software patents were created by a judicial decision, ratified by the patent office. No resistance politically. Not even among hackers, because hackers didn't really care to get involved in politics. It was too beneath them. Right? So software patents, terribly disruptive to free software, and the future of free software, just happened in the United States. In Europe, it's a bunch of hackers who begin to get software companies, small software companies together to mobilize, to overturn the European Parliament's decision time and time and again. Each time the European Parliament takes another step, they get it pushed back. And they get it pushed back because hackers here actually are closer to being politically active than hackers in the United States. In the United States, hackers are typically libertarian types. Here, I don't think that's true. I think they understand the need to be engaged politically and also have these views. So you might have a stronger fight to be waged in the context, for example, of network neutrality than in the United States, because we have a president and we have a head of an FCC, both of whom supports network neutrality. But I don't think you have a stronger fight when it comes to copyright. The president has not yet said anything in the context of copyright that's sensible. He's not said stupid things either, but he knows it's a political minefield for him, and he's not stepping in it. And of course, Europe is facing these issues right now. You want to extend the term of copyright for recordings from 50 years to 95 years. And, you know, these idiotic justifications, exactly the Sonny Bono Act, but twice as bad, right? And you have these idiot justifications that say, oh, this is about helping poor artists. Well, can you tell me how many poor recording artists are going to gain any benefit from the extension of a term for works that are 50 years old?